What are the potential benefits and drawbacks of President Biden's tax plan, and how might it impact different sectors of the economy? Today we're diving into a hot topic that's been making waves: how Biden plans to raise taxes. Join us as we unpack the details of President Biden's tax proposals, from corporate tax hikes to changes in income tax rates. We'll explore the potential impacts on businesses, individuals, and the overall economy. Whether you're a taxpayer, investor, or simply curious about the future of taxation in the United States, this video is for you. Let's navigate through the complexities of Biden's tax plan together. Is the US economy truly booming under Biden? President Biden and his officials consistently portray the US economy as strong and rapidly improving under their leadership. They cite statistics like GDP growth, job gains, and unemployment near 50-year lows. However, economist Peter Schiff argues these headlines numbers present a misleadingly rosy picture. According to Schiff, structural weakness lurks below the surface, and everyday Americans continue struggling with low wage growth, rising costs, depleted savings, and crushing debt burdens. In Schiff's view, the administration is ignoring these realities facing citizens and risks making the situation worse through tax hikes and excessive spending. While economists can debate the data, Schiff believes the public's personal experiences reveal more hardship and financial strain than Biden admits. His skepticism highlights a disconnect where officially declared economic prosperity fails to align with many voters' daily frustrations and worries. Schiff contends the administration is promoting an exaggerated narrative of a strong expansion benefiting the middle class. Biden regularly speaks of an economy that's booming, claiming we're on the right path. Schiff argues these declarations contradict the reality experienced by ordinary citizens. The combination of stagnant wages and runaway inflation leaves most Americans falling behind despite officials' bright pronouncements. He notes that real wages, adjusted for inflation, are declining by 3% annually, the worst pace in 40 years. This represents a major hit to households' purchasing power and living standards. Though nominal wage growth is keeping pace with inflation on paper due to tight labor markets, surging prices are erasing these gains in practical terms. American workers and families are losing ground in real economic capacity. Beyond inflation, Schiff points out consumer debt burdens are soaring, with credit card balances jumping 15% over the past year, the largest increase in over 20 years. Meanwhile, saving rates have plummeted as households exhaust their pandemic buffers just to keep up with expenses. Taken together, these trends paint a picture of families under growing financial strain, not prosperity. Critically, Schiff also highlights how a manufacturing recession has already taken hold, with the sector contracting for nearly 2 years since early 2021. Faltering manufacturing challenges the administration's claims of broad-based economic strength. Moreover, American consumer sentiment has touched all-time lows as people express hardening pessimism about their financial futures. Overall, Schiff concludes the official narrative of recovery and renewal seems detached from what citizens themselves are experiencing day to day. Diminished purchasing power, shrinking savings, and for many a persistent struggle simply to afford essentials. The reality of economic hardship conflicts with the administration's rhetoric of resurgence. This raises credibility issues when the touted progress fails to materialize in people's lives. Can new taxes and spending really improve the economy? A centerpiece of President Biden's economic agenda is raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy to fund greater social and climate change spending. The administration contends this government investment in priorities like green energy, childcare, healthcare, and elder benefits will grow the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. Schiff notes the government does not have capital of its own to deploy for long-term investments that increase productivity and innovation. It can only tax existing economic activity or print money through monetary inflation. Neither grows the economic pie. If anything, they likely shrink it. Every tax dollar represents income taken directly out of the more efficient private sector. Likewise, greater federal spending often fails to deliver promised economic benefits. Schiff argues much government spending amount to politically motivated transfers unlikely to meaningfully boost productive capacity. And with monetary policy still extremely loose, new fiscal stimulus can simply bid up prices. More government spending risks further escalating inflation when the economy is already at capacity limits. This crowds out real private investment even as distortionary effects of inflation and debt take hold. Schiff contends businesses hesitate to invest, expand, and hire amid uncertainty over taxes, regulation, and the monetary policy outlook. However, officials continue relying on more government intervention rather than removing impediments to entrepreneurship and investment. Through this lens, Biden's formula of higher taxes and spending looks more likely to impair rather than enhance economic performance and future standards of living. Schiff stresses that the path to genuine growth involves allowing Americans to keep more of what they earn so they can voluntarily save, invest, and spend within more efficient free marketplace. Robust economies drive from free people engaging in commerce, not government control. Is student debt cancellation stimulative or inflationary? The Biden administration has framed its escalating student debt cancellation as an investment in America's future. Officials portray the periodic forgiveness announcements as stimulating growth by freeing up borrowers' income for other spending. However, Peter Schiff argues this characterization is false. In his analysis, mass debt relief will fail to boost real output, only redistributed arbitrarily while fueling inflation. The administration's economic case hinges on debt cancellation, unburdening borrowers, enabling them to redirect funds previously going to loan payments into productive consumer spending across the economy. However, Schiff contends this assumes unfairly one-sided benefits while ignoring the accompanying costs. Schiff notes that funding debt relief through additional borrowing is deferred taxation with interest. Financing it through money creation is a direct inflation tax on all dollar holders' purchasing power. Seen through this lens, cancellation provides no net stimulus, just redistribution with likely inflationary spillovers. By inflating the money supply, mass debt relief threatens generalized inflation, reducing living standards. Schiff argues this erosion of families' purchasing power exceeds any modest economic benefit from borrowers redirecting nominal funds towards consumption. Broad-based inflationary impacts need accounting. Moreover, indiscriminate loan forgiveness could incentivize future borrowing and tuition hikes requiring more cancellation. Schiff believes the plan carries moral hazard, signaling debt can be politically expunged later versus rapid. This distorts responsibility and affordability for generations. In Schiff's analysis, student debt cancellation doesn't provide authentic economic stimulus, only inflationary transfer payments. Hazards like moral hazard and price inflation seem to outweigh any near-term GDP gain. He argues a real stimulus requires free market investment, innovation and demand growth, not arbitrary debt relief stalking monetary inflation. Are Americans better off financially under Biden? President Biden frequently declares American families feel growing financial relief and optimism under his leadership. He claims help is here for the middle class after years of struggles. However, Peter Schiff argues these assertions clash with economic realities facing citizens. In Schiff's view, the combination of high inflation and stable debt burdens means most Americans remain worse off despite officials' positive pronouncements. Based on anecdotes, Schiff hears increasingly widespread public dismay rather than relief. He notes real wages are still down significantly once inflation is factored in, with buying power being rapidly eroded. Meanwhile, spiking credit card balances indicate households are resorting to unsustainable debt just to preserve lifestyles. These indicators contradict the president's claims of material improvement for middle-class families. In reality, Schiff contends the combination of depleted savings and runaway inflation leaves most citizens worse off under the surface. Regardless of positive GDP or jobs numbers, he argues the personal financial experience of strain being voiced by ordinary Americans telling the real economic story, one at odds with officials' sanguine narrative. To Schiff, people's own accounts of struggling reveals more about their economic welfare than aggregated statistics or political rhetoric. The widespread frustration shared anecdotally suggests living standards are declining for many households despite Biden's assurance of recovery. His optimism appears increasingly detached or out of touch as families endure inflation and debts eating into budgets and savings. Ultimately, Schiff believes everyday citizens and voters are the best barometers of economic progress, not headline statistics or speeches. In his assessment, their voices increasingly reveal hardship rather than improvement over the past year. By this citizen-level measure, Biden's claims of relief for the middle class seem misaligned with people's daily financial realities. According to Schiff, the Biden administration is presenting an inaccurately glowing economic picture at odds with the difficulties still facing many working Americans. Despite touting strong GDP, jobs and growth, Schiff argues real wages are down, costs and debts are up, and financial strains are mounting for citizens based on anecdotal evidence. He believes these challenges contradict claims of broad-based recovery and could worsen with misguided taxes or excessive spending stalking harmful inflation. While economists can debate the data, Schiff maintains public experiences expose more turmoil than officials admit. To credibly help Americans, he says the administration must acknowledge their tangible pain points and pursue freer rather than more bureaucratic economic solutions. As we wrap up our discussion on President Biden's tax plans, we hope you found this overview informative and insightful. If you enjoy diving into the complexities of taxation and want to stay updated on more discussions about economic policies and government initiatives, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you informative content on important topics. Feel free to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay informed.